Hello. So it's probably been a hair bit since I've done any content last. I have a slightly different unboxing for you all today. As you guys know, in my last video I did talk about where the channel was going to go. I'm still going to do like some music stuff, but I've been very busy lately and I haven't bought much in terms of actual physical media and records and stuff. But I did get, I won't get into details. I got a little bit of extra income and I took a small amount of it and I put it towards my new purchase. And I'm very, very excited for this. I've talked about this before. I've been to the store and I've rented a few things. But I decided at the time that the very first rental that I got was good and it worked. I just realized I needed something different. And this is what I've got. So you probably can see this box. If you can't, well, I apologize. So I'm going to stand up and we're going to unbox this. Now, I've already taken it out of the store because, well, I kind of had to make sure everything was good. Now, this just arrived today. Maybe it was yesterday, I don't know. So there's a lot of bubble wrap. A lot of bubble wrap. Because this was shipped to me from another store. Shipped very, very well. Hopefully I got it home safely without it breaking. Because if it broke, I might just have a bit of a cry. An extended cry. I would probably just cry and never stop crying at this point, I think. Come on. So you probably already see it. And that is good. I'll deal with all that momentarily. Okay, I give and I present to you a guitar that I have wanted for probably many years. This is the Jackson JS22 and it is left-handed. So for those of you who are in the know, this baby is played and has been played by many of our heroes. And this is actually a lot heavier than I had originally anticipated. See in the back here, I'm going to go through the specs here momentarily. And fretboard looks a hair dry, but it could be. And I'm not used to this kind of fretboard either. Like, not at all. Slightly out of tune. Maybe it's just me. Could be just me. Yeah. Regardless, that's okay. I'll have to sit there and fiddle with that in a little bit. Just looking at the truss, looking at everything good here. Neck is nice. Now, so the specifications on this here, and for those of you who don't know, some of you will know because if you follow me or you watch my videos, you probably already know that this is, you know, what this is, and you know. Or you probably have a rough idea of like the terms and shit. So again, it's the JS series, and this is so the body's made of poplar wood. The body finish is gloss, so you can tell it's a little bit shinier than normal. For some dumb reason in my brain, I thought it was a satin finish, which is fine. Doesn't really matter because, well, I'm gonna beat the shit out of this thing. And it has a one-piece maple neck. Now, what that means is basically the whole neck here is maple, and sometimes they can put like a couple different, like sometimes there's Babinga, there's Wenge, there's sometimes rosewood in there or purple heart or whatever. The fretboard, so the finish itself on the back is a satin finish, and that is perfect because if you have a gloss finish as you're playing and as you start sweating and stuff, it gets very sticky, and that is a massive, massive, massive pain in the ass. So looking at this here too, the fingerboard, which is this right here, this is an Amaranth, and it's a 12 to 16 compound radius, so it changes in size. As you get up higher towards the neck, it's more flat, and as you're up here, it's a lot rounder for chord shapes and all that. 24 jumbo frets, which is great because it allows me that if I want to play some solos, I can do that later on as I get into playing. It's got a really sizable cut in the back here, and it's got a nice little cutout back here as well, along underneath the stamped piece for cereal and all that jazz. And the good thing is I can get my fingers right in here to sort of do all the nonsensical shit, but I probably won't be doing a lot of that. So and of course the inlays, which are these here, they are the pearloid shark fin, as I'm sure if you guys have watched Dave Mustaine play these years and years ago. Millie from Creator, I believe, played something similar to this. I think he played a V, which is a whole other kettle of fish. But yeah, it's shark fins, and that's been the staple thing for Jackson for many, many years. So the tuning machines, which is back here, these are die cast tuning machines. It's not really a big deal. I can worry if I want to put on locking tuners, I can do that later on. I'm not worried about that at all. So we have the scale lengths, which is from here, from this here, from the bridge all the way up to the nut, which is this here. That is 25.5 inches, which is in my personal preference. I don't mind Gibson scales so much, but I really sort of I prefer the whole 25.5 inch, because then you can sort of base yourself on the gauge of strings and so on. See, where am I at? Blah 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 blah. So the bridge, it's just a simple 2-point Fulcrum tremolo. I do have the whammy bar here. The likelihood of me ever using this is probably slim to none. I'm a riffs guy. I'm going to be mostly looking at riffs. Now, could I eventually get into playing solos? Yeah, but it's probably going to be, they'll be more along the lines of blues scales and so on and so forth, because I'm not really I don't like to do the fucking widdly woos, right? That's not really a necessary for me. It's more about chords and singular notes and big chunky fat riffs. You guys already know this. Okay, so there's no pick guard on here. Normally you would have like a little piece here a little small plastic piece that would go along the neck somewhere. So the pickups, as you can tell here, so this is the bridge, because it is closer to the bridge, and this is your neck pickup, which is close to the neck. Again, if you guys already know this, you're probably like, just shut the fuck up, fat ass, and get to the fucking program. They're just basically Jackson branded humbuckers. They're high output humbucker pickups, and of course you're switching. So this basically here, the switches, you can switch back and forth between the pickups. So this here is for the neck. If I move it to the middle position, and it's 3-way, so neck, middle, and bridge. The middle has both of these engaged, and the back has just this engaged. For metal, for what we all listen to, for the most part, this position here is for this, and that's where you get that. And that's where you get that's where the chugs come in. So of course, we have a volume and a tone. So crank them up for all the nasty chuggy chug noises. And then of course we have these are dome style, so they're easy to just kind of pop off and on. Black hardware, so it's kind of pretty much a black on black sort of thing, with a nice big Jackson white logo. And the strings are 9 to 42 gauge, so 9,000 to 42 thousandths of an inch basically. Now, 9 to 42 is not my preference. I would prefer that these come with 10s, but because Jackson is all hooked up with Fender, as you can tell from this little thing here, so they do have online lessons. I do know how to play bass a hell of a lot better than I do know how to play guitar. am I going to take this up on the, am I going to take this up? Yeah, probably. I'll go on to fenderplay.com, and then I will, or playfender.com, and then I'll go from there, and I'll get myself wound up, ready to go, and get starting to chunk on some riffs later on. Now, of course, I do know how to play chords. I do know how to play some bits, and because I did attempt to do this at one point a long time ago. Every time I did, it just sort of failed, and I ended up picking up a bass. With the price of basses nowadays, that's not fucking happening. Basses are far more expensive than guitars, and I've never understood why, but again, probably because there's, you know, far more, probably just far more options out there, I guess, for guitars as opposed to a bass. So yeah, this is the new baby. This is going to be my focus, probably going from here on in. Still don't know what I want to do with this thing. I don't know if I want to sort of segregate myself. And what I mean by that, eventually I'm going to want to like, I'm going to be trying to play just, you know, it's either going to be like thrash riffs, or, you know, it's either going to be thrash riffs, or it's going to be fucking death thrash riffs, or death metal, or doom, stoner, sludge, maybe even death doom, who knows. I have yet to get to that point, because then once you start thinking about what you're going to do, then it's to get a look at tunings, and then there's tunings, and there's string gauges, and there's all sorts of other nonsensical shit. I think the only thing that really I'm going to want to modify within the next several months is going to be this little guy. Now, this guy here is a nut. All this is just black plastic. So it's nothing to, it's not like, it's just a nut. It's just there to hold the strings in place. And for now, at this current moment in time, I think I'm going to be okay. The reason why I say I want to modify that, and it's not a difficult thing, you just sort of, you obviously take the strings off, you get this, you sort of pop that out, and there's another style of nut that I'm going to get. It's called Graph Tech. And gonna put that in, what that's going to do is it's going to hold its tuning better, far better than any other nut that you can get out there. Now, they have the bridges, of course, and the nuts that are Floyd Rose. That's a whole other kettle of fish that I don't really want to get involved in. So basically, at the end of the day, this is my new guitar. I ordered it a week ago yesterday, and I couldn't be happier with it. And because I'm left-handed, again, this is the thing. It's a lot harder for me to, you know, it's a lot harder for me to find a guitar that's low in cost, and it's not going to cripple my budget, especially where the fact where I don't want to bankrupt. I don't want my finances out of control. So I only owe 180 bucks on this. I financed it because that's what I can do with my local Long McQuaid. And they had this shipped in from Halifax. So this is, for me, this is pretty fucking amazing. And I'm over the fucking moon happy that I have this. And now it's time to put in the work, get playing, get riffing, and get kicking ass, because that's what I want to do. Now, probably this will not be played in the band unless something tragic happens, and then I'm going to really have to sort of set my mind into a different thing. But that's a whole, again, I'm not worried about that. That'd only be if I absolutely had to. Anyways, guys, thank you so very much for watching. Before I go, if you're wondering what I'm going to be plugging it into right now, that I don't know. That is going to really sort of, I do want an orange amplifier, but again, if I end up doing more of a thrashy sort of a death metal thing, then obviously I'm going to have to make sure I'm good first. It's a matter of, you know, fucking just making sure that I have a proper amp that's going to work for death metal and doom and stoner and sludge and all that sort of nonsense. For anybody who's a guitar player out there and you have a good idea, let me know. And I'm not going to be getting a fucking half stack or anything. It's going to be like a pretty decent sized practice amp or combo amp or whatever, something I can work with. Anyways, guys, once again, thank you so very much for watching. I am extremely happy with this bad boy. I'll see you guys soon. See you guys.